This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're in Kansas, man.
That's your Kansas accent.
We're from Wichita, man.
Gotta get a little more twine. Wichita, going to see the wizard.
Have you been to Wichita?
No, it's my first time. I hate it.
You might need to speak up a little bit with that new.
Oh, I like it. It's nice.
Why don't you explain your story again? Why you wasn't at the press conference?
You say a story like it's a lie.
Yeah, it did sound like that.
No, it wasn't.
No, I believe you.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
So for those that think I missed my plane, I didn't. What happened was it was two gates, 50A, 50B. My coach was at 50B, I was at 50A. Both gates were going to Dallas. Coincidental. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, well, where's he at? It's 3:30, 3:40. Plane leaves at 3:55. Where I was at, it said plane left at 4:05. So I thought maybe something happened. So he calls me and he says, where you at? I said, I'm sitting here waiting on you. He says, you can't be, I'm on the plane. I said, dog, for real, stop playing. Where you at? He said, I'm on the plane. So I look over and I was like, oh crap, it's a whole nother gate. So I walk over there and I'm on the phone with them while the gate's pulling off. So I'm like, you didn't call me or text me like, hey, we're boarding. And I'm like, he's gonna get on the plane. So I didn't realize it until I looked down next to me and there's a seat in between us and it's supposed to be a full flight. I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Talked to my mom. She told me not to smack him upside the head when I saw him. And that's what happened. Now I'm here.
How long did you have to wait?
10 hours.
What did you do for 10 hours at the airport? That's like my worst nightmare ever.
I started off playing domino. Then I started searching weird stuff like who was the first person to break dance in Japan.
And who was the first person to break dance in Japan?
I don't know. A picture of you kept coming up. I don't know why.
I've never been to Japan.
Well, I just started reading, man. Yeah, I was reading.
So, you made it. You got here yesterday. You weighed in today. And yeah, you fight tomorrow here in Kansas.
Wichita.
Mulvane.
Yep, Kansas, Wichita.
The interesting thing about your fight tomorrow is that you're now campaigning at super middleweights.
Absolutely.
Why?
At the last fight I weighed at 172, so I'm like, let's see what it feels like to make it 168. Not that much weight difference. But, I mean, everybody's a lot bigger than me at light heavy. I'm always a shorter fighter. But this weight class, I may still be a shorter fighter, but I'll definitely be stronger. Not like the typical 168. Most super middleweights are people that can't make middleweight anymore. You don't really hear too many light heavyweights going up to 68. You hear 68s going up to light heavy, but not vice versa.
So after months of talking trash about probably every single light heavyweight, especially from the UK...
I'm going to continue to talk trash about you guys too. You're still ugly. You still got ugly ass braids, all that junk and funk. I can't talk trash about the super middleweights because I don't really know any of them. So I got to do my, my research and then I guess I'll come with some stuff.
Well, we have Callum Smith.
He's ugly as hell too. God, you world champion, man. You fight like
And Ring Magazine champion.
Absolutely, he's all these champions.
They're talking about him fighting Golovkin.
I think that'd be a good fight. I mean, Golovkin don't look like he has any legs really anymore. It'd be a good fight.
Is this to see how you get on at super middleweight, or are you a super middleweight now?
This is how I feel at super middleweight. So, I mean, it's 170, 2 pounds away is 168. This fight isn't so much about my opponent. Opponent can go be a taxi driver or a random person. It could be you, KUGAN. It's just to see how I feel. Do I feel strong? Do I feel faster? How does my wind feel? Because under the lights and sparring is two different things. You know what I mean?
What do you mean it could be you?
It could be you, KUGAN. KUGAN CASSIUS.
Do you know what? Look, I've been here for 3 days, and I felt this week I learnt more about the industry.
The boxing industry? Why so?
The dark side of it.
Oh, the dark side?
Yeah, not stuff I'm going to openly talk about now.
Crossed into the dark side, huh?
No, but I hear shit every day, but this week I learnt more stuff about stuff that's going on and that goes on, and I was like, okay, it's not really any of my business, but it's nice to know what goes on.
The biggest fight happens not on paper. It happens behind the scenes. And it happens years after you stop boxing. People don't realize that, though. Boxing,
what do you mean when you finish boxing?
You finish boxing. When you finish boxing, the physical effect it has on your mind, on your body, and then the effect it has on your pockets if you don't do right with your money. That's where, you know, the business side comes in. It's easy to make money, but it's hard to keep money coming in or to keep it. Because, I mean, you have to think about bills, you know, your living expenses, and far down the road. But a lot of fighters, we come up, we're young, gung-ho, want to make money, want to live life to best, buy this, buy that. But we're not thinking, what are we going to do after we stop boxing? Majority of us don't go to college. I mean, I did, but majority of fighters don't go to college. So you don't have a trade. You can't box your whole life. And I hate to say it, but like the boxers that come up fast, they go even down even faster. And then after boxing, you fucked. It's like that. A lot of times. The dark side, I say, of boxing. For us to be in there, we're not doing finger rolls and catching passes and hitting golf balls. We're in there fighting. So it's messed up when you see promoters, not Eddie Hearns at any means, but when you see promoters getting more and managers getting more than what the fighters getting. But we're in there doing all the work. We're in there taking the blows, putting our life at risk. But we're not reaping all the benefits that we could be reaping because the dark side of the boxing world.
Interesting, because we see a lot of boxers after their career, and some are privileged enough. I say privileged enough, they've earned the right, so
Absolutely.
I use that term, to go into possibly training fighters. Some will get work on TV. But a lot of fighters get forgotten about very quickly. And there is quite, you know, especially in the UK, a lot of fighters that had to go and start full-time work again, because it doesn't matter what money you're earning. You're not earning most people are not earning Floyd Mayweather money. So it eventually will come to an end, whatever you've earned. And it's very hard to earn money from boxing.
It will come to an end, but the thing is, a lot of fighters, they try to live that same lifestyle after boxing ends. So you get used to buying this and buying that, and living here and living there, and then the money's not coming in the same. You're going to continue to try to, you know, do it, and then the money's just going to continue to run out. Then you're going to find yourself in a hard spot. It's like homeless people. They ain't go homeless overnight. It's levels. And you see people outside with cardboards. It's levels to it. First, they probably had a normal job like you. Things went bad. He might have got hooked on drugs. Whatever the case was, life just went south. Then they're in the darkness, and then they got to a point where it's like, I don't give a damn no more. Then that's when you see them outside with cardboard boxes. Then it just happened like that. Same with boxing. We can just go broke just like that. It's over years, you know, trying to make it happen, trying to be a coach, trying to be a promoter, trying to open up your own business. And it's like, well, now I got to get a job.
Do you know when I see a homeless person, do you know the two same things always come in my mind?
What?
The first thing is, at what point did it get that bad that you're in this position? And secondly, have you got no one in your life, like no one in your life, that says, no, you're not being homeless, you're coming to stay with me? That hasn't got to be a blood relative. That could be anyone.
Anybody.
Anybody. Because if one of my friends was on the street, they wouldn't be, because if they was a genuine friend of mine, if they were out of options, or even if they weren't out of
You'd be there
options,
for 'em.
I'd like to think that I would say, I've got a couch. I was going to say sofa, but you don't know what a sofa is.
I know what a sofa is.
You know what a sofa
I have
is.
a sofa.
No, but I'd like to think that I'd say, sleep there until you're on your feet. I'd like to think that that's what I would do. That, just going back to what we were talking about, is it a case of boxers are not being advised in the right way as their career is going on until it's too late? Is that fair to say?
I think it changed with the generations. Look at my generation. A lot of us are stubborn. You don't respect authority at our age. I mean, we're at the top of our, top of our years. We're good looking, we're strong, we're fast. It's like we can't be told, we feel invisible. And that's a good mindset to have in boxing, but you can't take that same mindset into day-to-day life. And when you're like that, you're not going to listen to, hey, save your money. Hey, put that away in savings. Hey, don't buy that car, you don't need it. Don't buy that watch. Now, generations back, I feel like fighters had the right mindset, but, I mean, they weren't making the money they should have made. Boxing, I say it's changed a little bit. You always have snakes in the game, but back then you hear about a lot of fighters getting gypped out of money. They weren't making close to the money people are making now. Not even the Floyd Mayweathers, but those mid-scale fighters. I think it's changed with generations. And as far as like the homeless thing, I actually did a documentary back when I was in school over homelessness. And we went around asking people for their stories. We would pay them a couple of dollars if they talked about it. If they didn't want to, we'd keep it moving. And the majority of it, for some reason, all had it. I won't say it was all drug related, but drugs played a part, or substance abuse, or just like a downfall, bad decision, a bad choice. It led to that. And then they tried to get on their feet sometimes here or there. They reached out, but they just kept slipping back into what we call slipping back into darkness, whether it was a substance or a mindset, whatever the case is. So I feel like there's always somebody you can reach out to. But a lot of times, if you don't want to change or help yourself, you'll stay in that position. A lot of times, that's not all the cases. I feel like not at all. Like I speak about depression, anxiety, autism, things of that, mental illnesses. Now that, you can try to help yourself and you're still going to feel that way. And it's sad. I was talking to a guy about it at the airport, and he dismissed it. Like, they're just crazy. No, that's not true.
Dismiss what? Sorry.
He dismissed the fact that people actually feel this way. And I was like, how can you dismiss something that you've never felt? It's an insult, basically saying you're crazy. Like, this, you can't feel that way. And it just blew me away. Like, man, does everybody really think this way? Maybe I'm the only person that thinks, because I've been through it. I've been in those shoes. But the fact that you talk to somebody about, children dealing with depression, children dealing with, or teenagers dealing with the fact of how they identify with their sexuality or their skin color. Am I biracial? Am I white? Am I black? Depression, anxiety. And people are like, it's not that big of a deal, because they don't deal with it on a daily basis. If you're just black, you can't explain to me what it feels like to be biracial, what it feels like to identify with the white side or the black side, because you're just black. If you're just white, you can't tell me what it feels like to be black. If you're just white, you can't tell me what it feels like to be mixed and have to identify with those sides. If you have a good come up and a good upbringing, you can't tell me what it feels like to come through the hood and the slums. If you had a good mindset and you grew up, you had everything given to you, and another kid who grew up and was diagnosed with anxiety or depression, you can't tell me what it feels like to feel like you're in the dark when you're around people and light.
Unless you've been through it yourself.
Absolutely. So the fact that somebody was dismissive about it, it just, it opened my eyes up to like, man, last time I did this video, I told you guys my story, but I didn't tell you on how to deal with it. I told them, I've been through depression and anxiety, but I didn't tell them exactly there's a way to deal with it and how to get out of it. Now, I might not work for everybody, but I feel like now's the time, I guess, to say it. That's okay, Cougar.
Not a problem.
All right, so I told you I've been reading, right? I've been reading this book called The Success Journey. My uncle wrote it. Well, it's a crazy book because he's went through the same path that I went through. And for those that's dealing with depression, anxiety, you're dealing with how to identify if you're a teenager, kid, like I don't know if I like boys, if I like girls. If you're dealing with how to identify myself, Hispanic, black, white, you're trying to find yourself. You call it identity crisis. I don't know who I am. People feel like that on a daily basis. Who am I? What am I put on earth to do? That's the biggest one. All this going on, depression, anxiety, you're feeling these waves, you don't know what you're put here to do. Like, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm just existing, I'm not living. You ever been at that point in your life where you're just like, I don't know, like what tomorrow's bringing, what I did yesterday? I couldn't tell you what I did hours ago. Like, what am I doing with my life? You ever been
I think everyone goes through or has had those thoughts at some point. Some more regularly than others, but I think everybody in life in general would have those thoughts. They might not voice them. Absolutely. But they still have those thoughts.
That's the biggest thing. People don't talk about it, so it makes other people feel alone in it. But when you have depression or anxiety or autism, ADHD, you feel it even heavier. So I was reading this book, and it's called The Success Journey, and it says the 3 truths in life. And the first truth is you're undeniably called by God to create change in people's lives around you. So undeniably, whether you're tall, short, fat, small, whatever you look like, you're undeniably called by Him. The second one is you're naturally and spiritually gifted, which means it's in you. You're naturally gifted with, asking questions and the movement of the camera. I'm spiritually gifted or spiritually gifted. It's just in you. You're born with it. And the last one is you're the sum total of your life's experiences. And once you connect your life experiences with your purpose, you can make other people's lives better. Basically, the worse your life has been, the better it can be for your purpose. I'm the sum total of my experiences. The fact that I went through so much bullshit, not being able to talk, not being able to read, all this, it puts me in a position where I can speak about it. If you haven't went through life, a lot of life experiences of craziness and drama and adversity and obstacles, you can't speak on it. You don't have that perspective on life. You feel me?
Yeah.
But if you've been through it, it's actually a blessing because it enables you to speak and help other people. You feel me? The fact that you say you've been through it, other people experience it, you've been there. Everybody can't say that. So with all that being said, those three, you're undeniably called by God, you're naturally spiritually gifted, and you're the sum total of all your experiences. I was reading this book, man, it blew me away. And it's a book by Rick Warren. It's called Purpose Driven Life. And he says, what are you put on earth here to do? But you do know your life is not about you, right? Your own life is not about you. Like, my life isn't about me. And he asks the question, if your life is not about you, then who's it about? When you find out the answer to that question, you find out your purpose in life. And it blew me away. Like, are you telling me my life is not about me? What's my life about? My life is about everyone around me. My life isn't about what I want to do or what I'm going to do. It's put on what I'm put here to do. So, like I said, those are dealing with depression and all these obstacles and things, and you're draining yourself and you just feel like, man, I'm just lost. What am I put here to do? When you find out that when you accept that your life is not about you, but it's about something else, something bigger than you, it changes everything, dog. Like, it changes how you feel, how you walk, how you talk. But you have to find a purpose. You have to figure out what you're put here to do. It could be something small. Like, I feel like my father's put here just to give birth to me, and he was gone. The purpose could be something as simple as that. But
Why is it, not just with depression and anxiety and similar issues, but why is it that people don't start doing anything until something happens?
why is it?
Why is that? For example, it's like, I've had friends who've committed suicide in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when a couple of times over the last 2 years, and everyone around them, it's like, we should have done something.
Mm-hmm.
We should have done something. And I wouldn't put that burden upon anyone, because ultimately people are, to a large degree, responsible for their own actions. You can't be around someone 24/7.
You can't.
But warning signs are there, but it seems like people only sort of take note after something's happened or something close to happening has happened, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Why?
Why?
I'm tell you, it's crazy you asking this, because I was actually, after my fight, instead of me using that platform to say I did this and did this, I bring attention to something. This is what I was going to bring attention to. The reason this happens, man, is because we're in a world now where people aren't comfortable enough to talk about how they feel. If you feel depression, suicidal, anxiety, you feel these things where you feel like you can't live on. It's okay to feel that way, but what it's not okay to do is not talk about it. They don't make it seem like it's okay to talk about it, and it is okay. It's okay if you don't know if you're white, if I'm black, if I'm gay, if I'm this, if I'm that. It's okay to feel confusion or feel like you can't go on to the next day. I got guys hit me up from England. I say, I lost my mother, my wife died, and my children has cancer. Like, I don't know what to do. This world, athletes, role models, they don't preach that it's okay to talk about this. It's okay to release how you're feeling. When you release it, you feel better. But you think about it, when you're raised up, majority of the time, they tell you, be strong, just keep on pushing, keep doing. They don't tell you about how to release your feelings and just let it out. Because when you do, somebody that's been there before, they can tell you how to deal with it, how to get through it.
But when you say they, whose job is that? Is it your parents? Is that the people around you?
You ever heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a child?
Yeah.
Anybody, complete strangers. Majority of my life, all this wisdom and knowledge that I get is from random strangers. I'm sitting on the porch, down in my blues. An OG walked by, hey man, I don't know what you're dealing with. If it's a girl, if it's school, don't let it keep you down. Brother, get up, walk around, walk with your chin up. Just random stuff like that. Don't know what I'm even dealing with. It's random people. But people are so consumed with themselves. Like I said, your life is not about you. Your life is about everyone that's around you. If you just simply just stop and say, you see somebody dealing with that, hey man, what's going on? Even if you don't care, don't give a damn. Somebody might release to you, man, I feel like I can't do it. I can't move on. Can't get a job. Can't get off this. Can't get off that. And you might just have all right, for instance, say I'm sitting outside, right, and I can't get a job. I got a camera in my hand. I'm like, man, I'm broke, I'm poor, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. I feel like I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I say as simple as that. But I feel like it's a flip side to it, Kugan. A lot of times when you're going through hell and you're going through, I say bullshit or just shit in general, it can be a blessing. People say, how could it be a blessing? I'm going through all this, right?
Right.
So I'm going to use an analogy or whatever, personification, whatever you want to call it. So a seed, right? Say you're the seed and God's hand is the farmer's hand, for instance. In order for a seed to grow, it must do what? It must get put in dirt. And once you put it in dirt, you got to, you dig a hole, put it in the dirt, then you throw dirt over it, then you throw shit on it, manure, then you put water over the top of it. Same way in life. In order for you to grow, you're going to get put in a deep down fucking hole. And it's going to get dirt thrown on top of you, and there goes the light. You feel like you're in complete darkness. Then there's going to be shit, a whole bunch of bullshit thrown on top of you. Then there's a whole bunch of water, like, fuck, I can't see, it's dark now, I'm fucking drowning in my sorrows, I feel lost. But in order for you to grow, you have to get put through this. You have to. You have to go through this. I mean, you have to. And then if you don't, if you complain about it, I want to get out of this situation, you're just going to go to some other shit. And you're going to get put in another hole and some more shit and some more water. And you're like, I don't want to do this, and I'm going to go over here. I think that's what, my life has been like that. Dealing with motors, I don't like this, I'm going to leave. I don't like this, I'm going to leave. You're going to have to deal with shit in life in general. You're going to have shit, you're going to be with the lows of the lows. But it's going to make you grow. Like a seed. Have you ever heard of a seed just growing and fucking just out in the open? No, you got to put it in the ground, cover it up with dirt. You're going to throw shit on it because shit makes stuff grow. And you're going to put water on it. It's going to be a hard process, but hey, you start growing, sky's the limit.
Do you know what? Just going back to what you were saying about people, what you were told about your life's not about you.
Yeah.
So, I had a friend a couple of years ago who used to go through depression, like, quite severely. And he said to me once, he said that he thinks about suicide every day.
Mm-hmm.
So, in a conversation I've had with him, I said, what stops you then? If you think about it every day, that's quite excessive. What stops you from actually doing it? And he said, similar to what you're saying, he said that he's not that selfish. I said, what do you mean you're not that selfish?
It's not that selfish.
He said, I'm not that selfish because if I do that, I don't know what's going on. I'm gone. It's everyone else around me that has to pick up the pieces.
The pieces.
And that's what he said, and it made total sense. But that's the one thing that stops at the time. He's a lot better now, but at the time, that's what stopped him. He said, I'm not that selfish. And I didn't understand it. And then when he explained what he means, it's true.
So it's an awful thing. Like I said, never use a permanent solution or a temporary problem. I say I have a brother, but he's the closest friend that I've ever had since the age of 10 and up. My only friend. My brother used to live with me and everything. He killed himself 3 years ago. And my father killed himself. That was hard dealing with, and the way I found out, and all that, it was awful. But him doing it affected me in a whole nother way because I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. It just.
You okay?
Yeah, man. It just.
Take your time.
I always tell people, when you're going through a bad time or, life in general, don't use a substance to try to make you feel better. Because substance makes you feel better, it's just temporary. And then when the shit comes back on you, it comes back that much more heavier. Then you need more substance to try to overcome that. Whether that's drinking, pills, whatever the case was. He got into pills, popping pills, and blew his own brains out. He was brain dead, but his body was still going. Rushed him to the hospital. I found out 7 a.m. in the morning. And I was at the hospital from 7 a.m. in the morning till 4 a.m. the following morning. In the bed with him. In the bed when they changed his clothes, when they washed him, he had blood coming out his nose, his mouth, his head. And I was in the bed with him until we decided to pull the plug. I was the only person in the room, him and his mother. It was filled with people. And they was like, he'll make it through the next day. I'm like, no, he won't. He's going to die tonight. He can't continue to, the blood's not coming out anymore. It's just in his body, just circulating like he's gone. And I I was whispering to him, like, it's okay. I have a pair of boxing gloves I keep with me that I put on the bed and told him, like, no, just keep fighting, man. Just keep on fighting. I'm with you. I got you. And I carry these gloves with me every day. I keep them in my boxing bag. My mother told me, she said, Anthony, he can hear you. Just let it go. Because he's going to continue to fight and hurt himself. And I said, all right. So I walked back in the room. It's just me and him. And I sat in the bed next to him. I got blood and brain and guts and all types of shit on me. I smell like death and sour and just shit just like he does. Because I've been in the bed with him for hours. And I whispered to him, I said, man, it's okay. It's all right. And I know you fought your fight. I love you. And his heart started beating just like that. I can't make this shit up. It was a winter time, and it was so cold the cars wouldn't start. So I had to stay at the hospital until the next day. It's an awful night. And there I realized suicide itself is because you think it's a permanent solution to your problem, but you just create more problems. That scarred me for life, holding my boy until he died. His mother seeing that, all his friends seeing that. And from that point, losing my father from suicide, losing my best friend, I called my brother, and he went everywhere with me. At my first pro fight, always told me, Anthony, you're going to be big. You're going to be big time with Freddie Roach and them. Always said that. For me to actually be out there and train with Freddie Roach and shit, it blew my mind. But to see this, man, the levels of what you deal with when somebody commits suicide. He left a little sister behind. He left a girlfriend behind. He was the only child. Suicide is very selfish, and it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Ain't nothing. There's no reason to kill yourself. As long as, to anybody who feels this way, as long as you have, your heart is beating. And even if you have one limb, two limbs, all your limbs. Especially for those, if you have all your limbs, you can see, you can feel, you can talk, you can read, you can speak, you can eat. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Life's gonna go up and down, side to side, but it's never worth taking your own life over, ever. Life is a gift, and value it. Value it. It's very precious. There's a problem. People feel like it's guaranteed. I feel like that's what makes them not value life that precious. People like me and you, we've seen people in their lives just say fuck it. So we'll never think of to put ourselves in that situation. You'll never think of suicide, never be the way. I got too many people that love me and care about me. And it's just, it's levels to it, man. It's a ripple effect. It's just, the ripple effect is good, it's negative. My father killed himself, man. Lost the ability to read and write. My childhood was nothing but suffering. When he died, how I felt was nothing but suffering. Which is crazy because I was just reading the other day, and Martin Luther King, I don't read like black quotes and things of that sort, historic quotes, but he said, my personal trials have taught me the unmerited value of suffering. Unmerited means not deserved. He says, as my suffering mounted, I soon realized that there was only two ways I could react. Either I could react with bitterness, or I could react and turn that suffering into a creative force. So those that are suffering, you feel what I feel. You felt what I felt before. Depression, hopelessness, anger. Use that as a driving force. Now, that force doesn't have to be a physical force. It can be a spiritual force, a verbal force. Use it. Do a hobby, do something. But don't let it consume you, because once it consumes you, then there's no more you. Then you become it. If that makes any sense, Cougar. I don't be rumbling on and on. But it's just like, man, life is so deep, It's deep. With that type of, you good? That type of mindset, dealing with things like that, mental illnesses and depression and anger and autism and all these different possible mental illnesses people can have. You don't realize how life precious is until you don't have it anymore.
It's true. It's true. I think, and it does get spoken about, and I think, especially in boxing, it happens a lot in boxing.
Absolutely.
And it's not spoken about enough. And to be honest with you, while we're in this generation in this life, it won't get spoken about enough because people will always be reluctant to talk about it.
That's where you come in at, KUGAN. No, really.
No, I get that. I get that.
I mean, the little interview we did last time, man, it made a little noise. It did. But for whoever sees this, whoever's watching this, I'm bringing awareness to it, but it shouldn't just be me. I want you to bring awareness to it. Make people feel okay to talk about what they're feeling. Once people feel okay to talk about what they're feeling, they're not going to keep it inside and deal with it themselves. People like me and you, just talking about it, letting it out. We can create a ripple effect. People don't think it's cool to talk about their feelings. You got to be strong, macho, man. I'm going to be strong and hard, which that's how he's raised to be. And I said, stop judging and, making people feel wrong for how they feel. You may not agree with what they say and what they feel. No, I don't want you to be gay. I don't want you to be this. I don't want you to be that. You're entitled to your own opinion. But what you're not entitled to do is make people feel like it's not okay to talk about it. That's never okay. My mother always told me, son, I don't care if you feel like killing yourself. I don't feel like you want to kill somebody. I don't care if you tell me one day you like boys. I don't care if you think that you're white and you're black as coal. I don't care. But tell me how you're feeling. The worst thing you can do is keep it inside, because then it eats at yourself to where there's nothing else to eat at. Then you snap.
You okay?
I'm cool, man. It's just thinking about it. I try not to think about my brother too much. I mean, I do. I try to think of my father too much. I'll be at the fights. I cried so hard after my last fight because people don't know this, but I get 8 tickets, like similar to Tony Blue. I get 8 tickets, and 1 ticket, nobody ever sat in that seat because it's for my father. And I always, after every fight, I always look in the crowd. I see my mother. I go look for my father, but I don't see him, and I'm like, oh shit! I realize my father's dead. I'll be training. This morning I woke up. I'm like, man, I can't wait. My mom's gonna see me in the zone. My dad's gonna see me in the zone. And I looked at my shoulder, and I have a tattoo for my father, and it hit me. Also, with suicide, man, it hurts for generations. You do that, you take away something from people that they'll never get. My father never see me get married. Never see me have my first child. Never see my first fight. Never see me put on my first pair of gloves. Something he took away from me that I'll never get. And it hurts, man. It hurts. It hurts on the daily. I get closer and closer to settling down, meeting my future wife, having a family, all these things I'm getting closer to big in life. This boxing shit's great. But boxing come and go, just like this camera business, IFL. You ain't gonna do this for the rest of your life. You only have kids and you're married and live your life to the fullest. But what if the person you want to be there the most will never be there because they took themselves out the picture? I live my life, man, regret-free. I can say that legit. But I do have one major regret. My father, he'll never see the man that I became. Like he took that from me. Like he didn't get to see me the first time I was able to actually read in public, or read or speak to people after him passing away. He'll never get to see me in my first fight. He'll never get to see my first professional fight. He'll never get to see his son, my hand get raised in the air. He'll never get to see that. He took it from me. And my brother, he always talked about me fighting. He saw my first pro fight. He didn't see any more after that. There's so much that I had planned on doing with him that he took away from me. And I feel like I'm making it my job, my duty. It's my obligation. It's what I'm put here to do, to bring attention, man, to mental illness. And me saying this may make someone change their mind and stop what they're going to do. It's going to affect other lives, man. It's heavy. Suicide says it's a selfish decision. And I'm not saying what you feel isn't real, but that's not the solution. I'm living proof it's not the solution. Would you like to make someone feel how I feel? You see why I'm a grown man shedding tears because there's so much I long for. No money will fill this, no woman, no belt. nothing will fill this hole in my heart that I feel on a daily basis. You can make sure people don't feel that way. By what? Spreading the word of mental illness and spreading in a positive manner, making people feel okay to talk about it so that nobody gets put in the position that I'm put in. Nobody has to live that type of lifestyle that I had to live. I lost the ability to read and write, man. I got beat up just because I couldn't talk. My mom made me leave at 13 because a woman can't raise a boy to be a man. I went through hell. My life was suffering, man. My life had just got good maybe a year ago. And my father's fault, it was a domino effect. After he died, everything else went right behind it. Everything. My home, our car, everything, dog. Like, it ain't boo-hoo me, but if you never realized it or thought in deep of, like, what suicide does to not just you, to the person, yeah, they're gone, they took their own life. But the possible child they could have had, or the child they do have, now that child has to go on this life without them, not knowing them. That's this mother, the sister. It's heavy, man. I can't even put into words. It's not even a sadness or an anger or a hurt. It's deeper than that. You know what I mean? It's there. Just as my joy is every day, I'm always happy and fired, I'm fired up. I have all this joy in me every day because I've been to that. I've been to that place that people don't come back from. Like you said, we've been there. It's a dark place that many people don't make it from. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. My father didn't make it from that dark place. My brother didn't make it from that dark place. But the fact that I did, and I can talk, I can walk, I can speak, it ain't about fucking boxing. I can read, I can eat, I can walk, I have all my limbs. I have joy every day because of that. Every day. And my joy, my pros outweigh my cons. So I stay away from that dark place. You feel me?
Anthony.
What's going on?
I want to stop this interview.
Okay.
I don't like seeing you like this.
Huh? You said what?
I don't like seeing you like this.
No, it's the thing, I'm not.
No, I know. No, listen, that's not what I mean is you've spoken about stuff that I wouldn't have expected you to talk about and would never have kind of insisted you ever talked about, or, in that way. But you've said it now, so I don't want to.
No, we can. I'd rather end it on a positive note. If possible.
You can end it on a positive note.
Yeah, I'll do that. I mean, I wasn't gonna go any more on that. But
No, I don't. I know you're.
My life.
I had the feeling. Listen, I don't know you very well,
Yeah.
and you don't know me very well, but I know that I had the feeling you were. As we say here in England, we're in Kansas, but you wear your heart on your sleeve, as we'd say at home.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I appreciate you talking about this.
Like, man, if I feel like I don't share it. Everybody has a testimony. If I don't share it, some little boy, some little girl's gonna walk down the same path that I went down, and if not helped or guided or, with the right knowledge, they're gonna fall, man. They're gonna fall hard. I feel like that's why it's our duty. We've been there, we've done it. We've been down that path and came back and made it out. It's our duty, man, to talk about it. I say these kids might not ever see me, teenagers, boy or girl, might not ever see me in person, but they're gonna hear this. And it's gonna be ripples. Somebody else is gonna talk about it. And they're gonna go look at it themselves, and they're gonna hear it and be like, okay, I feel that way. So what do I do now? Oh, he said do this, this, and this. I wonder if it works. So. But end on a positive note.
It's cool.
Sorry, I know it's heavy, right?
No, it's cool. No. Don't apologize for nothing.
Oh, okay. People always ask me, why are you so happy? And you're always happy and smiling and laughing. And I find it as an insult. I'm not happy. Happy is a temporary feeling, man. Happy comes and it goes. Happiness is like anger, sadness. It comes and it goes. It's usually based on your environment, the people around you, or how life's going at the moment. Because, you can get angry or sad just like that. What I do have is joy. Joy is inside of you. It can't be created nor destroyed, which means it's always inside of you, a burning fire. Always. And I have joy. Joy's got me, where I'm at. It keeps me fired up, going crazy. Joy. And I don't mean to be religious, none of that. Like I said, I'll give you praise to Buddha, Mansa Musa, Allah, you're Jew, whatever the case is. When you surrender to a higher power, dog, and you realize that life is bigger than yourself, and your life is not about you, you find this peace and this joy that only can be given to you. And so, yeah, I don't know. I sleep like a baby, man. I wake up every day happy. I feel blessed every day. That's why I'm always goofy and talking crazy shit and laughing, because I've been to that dark side that people go to. But the fact that I made it out, I'll have joy for forever. And since I made it, I'm going to share with everyone else who's there right now so they can have the same joy that I have. But it's up to us, KUGAN, people watching this, to share the story if you've been on that road. If you've had anxiety, depression, if you're dealing with it, if you had substance abuse, whatever the case is, if you're biracial and you've been in that position where you have to identify with what side you are or where you fit in at. Or if you've been, a teenager, kid, adult, where you're dealing with your sexuality, you don't know if you like boys or girls, and you want to be accepted in this world. You want to feel loved by anyone you come in contact to. If you've been there, it's your job to talk about it. And you heard that from the magician. God damn it. All right. You better talk about it. I'm going to come find you and give your face a whooping.
Anthony Sims Jr., thank
on?
you very much for your time today.
No, thank you, man, because
don't thank me.
I do thank you.
No, don't thank me.
That's why I thank KUGAN, right?
No, don't say this.
Listen, at one point, nobody listened to my story, didn't care to talk to me, none of that. So the fact that KUGAN sits down and talks with me man to man.
Yeah, but
we talk man to man.
It's about you. This is like...
Yeah, well, you play a part in it too. It's like a murder. You're guilty by association. Love you, brother.
Sims.
We on?
Have you met Tony Sims from England?
No, I hear about it. Is he black?
He's white.
Oh, no, I've never.
Trainer. Trains...
the people can tell me, you're a Sims.
Trains Ricky Burns.
They can tell me I should train with Tony Sims too. They're like, you're a Sims, you should train with him, Sims. No.
I'd like to get you two in a video together.
Is this still on?
Yes.
Okay. What's happening? Hey, if you have any questions, just want to talk to me, shoot me a message, Instagram, DM. I'm not like these other fighters that don't reply and stuff like that. I'll reply to you with your own video just talking to you, bro. Like, I'm not even tripping. When I'm not fighting, I just sit at the crib. If I'm not training, I'm just at the crib chilling out. I'm more than happy to talk to you. Like I said, a lot of people's opened up to me about their problems, which I really appreciate it. For those, open up to me about what's going on in your life, I appreciate it. I'll be your Dr. Phil, your black Dr. Phil, all right? Or your Hispanic Dr. Felipe, I don't care what you want to call me. Hit me up. Message me, Twitter, Instagram, and we can talk, man. We can talk it out. Talking makes it better. Like I was feeling down because I lost a close friend last weekend, Leo Hall, professional boxer in Toledo, Ohio. He's 8-0 with 7 knockouts. He was found dead a couple blocks away from his house, and I had just talked to him 2 days before that.
Wow.
Yeah, so it hurt. So we was talking about him. He's supposed to fight this weekend. So I wasn't down, but I was a little hurt by that. A close friend I grew up with from the age of 6 and up, he's always fighting. From boxing, you create like a brotherhood because you're always fighting each other since kids. Like Luis Arias, I know Luis since I was 8. So thank you, KUGAN, for me to be able to let that out because man, I was feeling that heavy. Me missing my father, me missing my mom, I'm missing my brother. These things I have to deal with on a daily basis. But tough times don't last long, but tough people do.
KUGAN CASSIUS, Anthony Sims Jr. here in Kansas.
Fucking engage a lemon, squeeze a fridge freezer, Tommy's tip, Mike.
Yeah.
Working on it.
Work on it. Wanker.
Fucking wanker.